starting my hike today right here at Lake St. Croix because this is where the fur traders would have come ashore from coming up the St. Croix River and start their portage over to the Brule River and then take the Brule River up to Lake Superior. So let's go. This is a spur trail back to where you connect up with the North Country Trail. It's a short spur trail. It just crosses County Road A and then just up a little hill, and there's the trail. I always kind of make an assessment when I see a tree like this, whether it's about to fall or not. Looks like some people have walked around it. They all fall eventually, so, and the chances of you being under it is pretty unlikely, but it's a bad outcome if it does happen. Well, here's where we cross County Road A. And here's a sign about the portage. Oh, here's where we join the trail again. This portage was first used by European fur traders in about 1680. And the first one that used it that's credited with finding it is Daniel Duluth. Duluth sounds a little bit like Duluth, and turns out that Duluth is named after him. Well, this trail is pretty worn. I suppose if it's been used since 1680, it's pretty well chewed up. And we're really deep in this furrow here. Along the way they'll have stones with plaques on them for some of the notable people that have used this portage. And it looks like we're going to get up and over the hump here. I don't know at what point the drainage starts heading north instead of south. I suppose whatever the highest point is. Alright, now it's starting to go down the hill a little bit. We'll see if that continues or not. Nice spruce forest in here. So we're coming to the first stone here. Let's see what this says. Nicholas Jr. and Joseph Lucius, 1886. They were the last of the fur traders to use this trail, so this trail has been used as a portage for over 200 years up to that point for fur trading. And of course, Lucius is an important name in the town of Solon Springs. Lucius Park, which I believe Nicholas Lucius, maybe it was his land, I'm not sure. So let's move on to the next stone. I think it's really great that North Country Trail is able to use this portage route as part of the trail. It really makes for some interesting history and a chance to kind of feel what it was like to hike this. Of course, the voyageurs, they carried a lot more than a fanny pack like I'm carrying. They carried, I don't know, 90, 100 and some pounds, whatever it was. And most of them were a lot smaller people than we have today. So they really toughed it out. Alright, there's George R. Stunts from 1853. I don't have any information on him, but that was late in the use of this trail. Within about 30 years of it's no longer being used. Okay, Henry Schoolcraft, 1820. As you may know, Henry Schoolcraft was credited with finding the location of the source of the Mississippi River up in Itasca State Park. Well, looks like we got a trail log. I guess I should sign in for that. And I'll do that. There's a bench I can sit on while I'm doing it. Okay, got the trail log signed. Well, here's the big hill. This must be where the drainage goes the other way. That's a steep hill. Might be tough carrying a canoe down there, especially the old kind they had back then, birch bark or whatever, compared to what we have nowadays. Oh, here's another stone. Oh, John Baptiste Cadet or Cadeau, 1819. The Cadeau brothers, Michael and Jean Baptiste, used this portage with their work with the American Fur Company, and they were credited with establishing a fur trading hub in La Pointe on Madeline Island. So there's a lot of history up that way with that name. Kind of looks like the Brule bog is down there. It's hard to see through the trees, but it goes way downhill, and that's a different forest type, and I'm guessing that's what that is. And of course, this is a lot easier walking than through a bog, so that's probably why this route was selected. Alright, this stone says Michael Curat, 1803. He traveled through this area then, and he wrote about it. He journaled, and so that journal is still available to read if you're interested. Alright, here's a nice clearing here. You can see quite a ways in the distance. Fall colors are changing. It's still a little early here, but other places are already done. There's a bench up there if you want to climb up there. It's got an AO on it. That means it was put there by Atlee Oswald, who is now passed on, but did a lot of trail work. Surprising how much cooler it is when you get in the shade deep in the woods like this compared to out in the sun. Smells good in here too with all these spruce trees. Alright, here's the stone for Jonathan Carver. Jonathan Carver was an Englishman who explored this area in 1768. Following the acquisition of this part of the country by England as a result of the French and Indian Wars. Before that, this area was under the ownership of France and was called New France. Alright, here's the plaque for Pierre Lesueur, 1693. His trip out here was for the purposes of missionary work. He was a he was a Jesuit priest, and he was kind of in cahoots with the fur trading business, and he was trying to keep this area open for the fur trade, I suppose by keeping tensions down and such. Let's move on and see if we can find that Daniel Dilhoot plaque up ahead. Well, that's the end of the portage. The Brule River, 75 yards. I guess we better go take a look at that. It's a spur trail off of the North Country Trail, but I'm guessing it's worth seeing, so let's go. Looks like it'd be tough without the boardwalk. So the fur traders would have had a slog through this bog here to get to the Brule River here. And there it is. And as you may be able to see, it is flowing left to right towards Lake Superior. So once you get your canoe in there, you can go all the way to Lake Superior and all the way to the Atlantic Ocean if you want to paddle that far. You know, this whole portage was kind of would be a grueling hike carrying canoes and packs of furs and things like that, but your subsistence materials. But you know, if you think about it, it's going over a divide that separates the north from the south, more or less, and from St. Croix you can go all the way to the Gulf of Mexico and all through the central United States. And if you take the Brule here, Lake Superior, you can get way into Canada and all the way out to the Atlantic. So if you want top dollar for your furs, this opened up a whole new area. Well, I must have missed the plaque for Daniel Dilhoot, who was, as I mentioned earlier, Daniel Dilhoot was credited with originally discovering this portage and opening it up to the fur trade in 1680, a long time ago, at least in our terms of thinking for United States and Canada. Now, I'm not sure if that trail portage was used prior to that by Native Americans or not, but I have to assume they maybe did, and perhaps even helped him find the trail. If you want to read up more about this portage, all you have to do is search St. Croix Brule Portage, and you'll have more information than I can possibly repeat in this video. It's pretty interesting stuff. Alright, now we're going to continue on North Country Trail, heading east towards the Highland Town Hall. I think today's hike is about 7 miles, and I presume this is the type of trail I'll be hiking on. I've got about 5 more miles to hike today, and we'll see what we find along the way. I know there is a campsite, the Jersey Creek campsite, so we'll take a look at that when we get to there. Like a lot of leaves are falling today. It's not that windy, but just enough to cause loose ones to fall. Oh, look, there's a hiking stick for a giant. I wonder how many giants walk through here. Oh, here's Sweet Rebecca Creek. That is a nice creek. Water looks really good too. Following along the 2-track trail for a while here. North Country Trail uses this. I'm not sure if this is also a snowmobile trail or not, or just an access for fire or something else. But it's pleasant walking. Well, coming out of the woods here, and it's a hairpin turn, and looks like Jersey Creek is down there. So we must be getting close to the campsite. Here's a bridge over Jersey Creek. Pretty creek. Water's running pretty good here. Quite a descent there. Well, I've come up this hill and from down there, and still no campground, so maybe it's at the top of the hill. We'll see. Yep, here's the campground, top of the hill. It's like a nice spot. Tent pads back there, fire pit, picnic table, and kind of a view. Yeah, very nice. Trail brings you out to these nice views every once in a while. And then back into the woods. Okay, this part's pretty flat and cruisy through this pine forest. Pretty soft with all these pine needles on the path. Alright, I'm coming out to the County Road S and the parking lot that I'm headed to. Trail continues across the street there, and I'm headed over this parking lot to rendezvous with my ride. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks for coming along. See you next time.